On this episode of The Lowdown, the SherwinWilliams paint firing debacle, Wendys enters the chicken sandwich war, Sam's Clubs lets you shop like a Griswold, and tweeting fleets. Stick around.
And here we go.
Yeah, boys! We're back for another scintillating episode of The Lowdown, a small agency's take on the big world of PR and social in mainstream media, pop culture, and more, and arguably the greatest podcast in the comm sphere. For those of you that don't know, it turns out that the president of podcasting actually called us and said, we'd like you to do another one. So that's why we're back, right? President of podcast. So here we are. We're back at it again. Hard to argue with that, right?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Putty. All right, great. Coming at you from BML PR HQ in Florham Park, New Jersey, I'm Brian Lowe, the B, the M, and the L of BML Public Relations, the greatest social media and PR agency on the planet that I happen to own.
Yeah,
but don't take our word for it. Judge by yourself by checking us out at bmlpr.com. Today on the cast, we'll talk all things strategy, creative, and execution. Who did it right? Who missed the mark? And raising the bar while breaking down the PR spin and social strats that make the world go around.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Hell yeah.
But I can't do it alone, right? I've got to have a little help from my friends.
Say hello to my little friend.
Thanks, Tony. Joining me are three, aside from Clark and Buddy here, are three amazing comm pros that I not only have the pleasure with working with daily, but I also admire and respect greatly as humans. Say hello to my fellow lowdowners, our slipper-wearing in-house barista, Jen Petrella.
I like that.
Cool.
And
That's
nothing makes our next panelist happier than the smell of fresh trade show carpeting. Say hello to VP Extraordinaire and Quirkmeister General John Gramuglia.
Can't beat that smell or the padding underneath. That cushion is unbeatable.
We'll take your word for it. And finally, look at him in all of his splendor, and he's not even greased up. Say hello to our former bodybuilder but current social media strategist, Mike Schick alone.
Yeah.
Heyo. I gotta work on my intro. They're only gonna probably get worse before they get better too.
That's true.
I
That's
like
what
it.
we're
I feel
striving
like
for.
it makes me sound like the most normal person here, so I
Kinda
really enjoy it.
does,
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
I was going to say that I have a lot of work to do here.
Yeah.
So as we ease into it, we should note that, again, all the opinions shared here on the cast are our own, and we don't necessarily reflect the views of our agency. And if you don't like them, drop us a line. We're happy to discuss, but we think you can handle it.
Yeah!
Now, at this point, as we always do, we're going to kick it to Schick for the icebreaker of the week. Schick, take it away.
Allow me to break the ice.
Thank you, Brian. So let me get our icebreaker generator going here. Oh, hold on.
Pull the
Here we
string.
go. Priming.
This just in.
Hey now. All right. Timely icebreaker. Here we go. It's a two-part question. Favorite holiday movie,
Ooh.
and the bonus part of the question is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Wow. This is
I'm gonna go. I'll start the conversation on my top left. So Jen, why don't you kick us off?
Well, my favorite
Holiday movie?
Yes, the greatest of all time has to be Elf, Mr. Buddy the Elf. I mean, name a more iconic symbol. I mean, at least for my generation, I'm sure the three of you have different opinions.
Say what? Okay. Yeah.
Nobody beats Buddy the Elf.
No.
And I do think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I mean, it takes place on Christmas. What more do you people want?
Okay.
But by the way, I'll say, look at how obedient Buddy is. He's so still. I told him just to sit there.
Dude,
Tremendous.
Tremendous. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, going counterclockwise. Brian, you're up.
So I would say this one's an easy one for me. And, as a kid, come on, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I love watching it with my kids. Just old school classic. It's just the greatest. It's not the holidays until I watch that thing. And I've already watched it once this year.
Right.
So the other thing is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I'm going to go absolutely not. Okay. And here's the other. I debate this with a friend of mine who I'm going to make listen to the podcast for sure this time. She's always talking about Love Actually being a Christmas movie. If you go by the logic that it takes place during Christmas, then Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd is a Christmas movie.
Yep.
These happen.
I've
to
never
take
seen
place-
that, but if it takes place on Christmas, it's probably a Christmas movie.
It doesn't take place on Christmas per se.
Right.
But
Die
it
Hard takes place on Christmas.
Right.
They have scenes where people are wearing Santa hats, and it's obviously Christmas. It does not
Christmas.
make it a Christmas movie, in
Correct.
my opinion.
I'm
enough with this.
Oh, what
nonsense.
do they have to do? Carol?
I'm buying that. But Christmas wasn't the crutch of the plot. Like it's just a moment within.
Exactly. The common theme is all about the holidays. I'm going to say Hallmark movies, because they're cheesy as hell, but those things are way more Christmas than Die Hard and Love Actually on Christmas.
Yeah.
I've never seen Love Actually either, but if it takes place on Christmas, it is a Christmas movie.
I've seen Love Actually. I consider
Of
that
course
a
you
Christmas movie. It does feel like holiday-ish. Thank you, Schick.
John's like, I've seen it weekly, daily.
I have. It's pretty good. I always get that confused though with the one with Jack Black and Cameron Diaz, the holiday.
Is
right?
Love Actually the one where they have the signs at the end and he's talking to her, but he's holding the signs?
Yes. Yeah. Rick Grimes, right?
I'm very familiar.
Yes. All right, is it my turn for this thing? I could legit go all day on this topic, as you know. So my holiday taste in movies has totally morphed as I've gotten older. I used to be like Die Hard, like A Christmas Story when I was a kid. I think because I also really wanted like a BB gun, like super badly. But then it Home Alone is like has always been there for me. It actually just celebrated 30 years in the theater, I believe. Or if it didn't just celebrate it, it's coming up like any day now. But that's always been up there for me. But I gotta say, over the past 5 years, Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and Rita Wilson. I could repeat that line or repeat that movie verbatim. No joke. I asked for a Turbo Man for Christmas this year because I really want one for my collection.
I gotta go.
So,
well, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
So I'm gonna say Jingle All the Way is mine because the replay value is so high. The plot is so like, while it's a stressful movie, it's pretty mindless, and it's like a great movie just to fall asleep to and like chip away at every night. So that's my vote.
I thought taste was supposed to develop as you got older.
I know I've totally gone backwards. But that's mine, and I agree with Brian's take on Die Hard. Like, not a Christmas movie. It's obviously within, but I don't consider it. It's not like during like Christmas season, like I'm pulling that one out to watch. It's just like, it's just not.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
if
even
it's
in my
on,
considerations.
you will watch it.
So if it's at like a certain parts, I'll watch it. Once like the action like really picks up when he has no shoes on, then I'll watch it. But otherwise, I'm like not into it.
So my favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone. I used to watch that when I was a kid when it wasn't Christmas time, just to get in that spirit or wish it was Christmas. Yeah. And not to mention John and I and a couple other people pulled off one of the greatest Halloween costumes ever. Yes. I was Old Man Marley. Yep.
I was the Little Nero's Pizza guy. My sister was a pigeon lady, and Schick's wife, Rebecca, was Kevin McAllister. So we did a group costume a few years ago.
Could we get a picture inserted here?
Yes, we'll drop that in,
Boom.
of course.
And my note to the editor.
And then Schick, please throw to the picture of me and my sister in front of the Home Alone house in Chicago when we went there.
Of course.
So we're diehard fans for sure. Love John Hughes. But I don't know, man.
But
Jingle All the Way gets my vote.
And then in regards to Die Hard, yes, it is a Christmas movie. Why? Because it shows up on TV and HBO and all that around Christmas time.
Yep.
Nowhere else. You see Die Hard with a vengeance during the summer because it takes place in summer. Christmas time, Die Hard. Yes.
Hot take: Die Hard with a vengeance is my favorite Die Hard.
But so we're gonna say it's based. So we're gonna say it's based on a holiday. It's based on the programming guys who decided to throw it in the lineup.
Yes.
It's
You're not gonna want.
theme.
You just don't see it though. You don't see it during the summer or any other time of the year. Yeah. I mean, same thing with Shazam.
How much more holiday theming do you want before it'll count as a holiday movie? What else do they have to do?
I don't know.
There's holiday costuming.
Shazam legit has Santa in it. It's a Christmas movie.
Okay. Fair point. We could go all day on this, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. So any movie that just has a random Santa in it, it's a holiday movie. You learn that here first on the podcast.
That's right.
Why else would he be
Quote
there?
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm feeling a little disgruntled after this question, so thanks.
So you guys can weigh in. Anybody that's listening, weigh in. Send us a comment, email, whatever.
Yeah.
TLD. TLD at bmlpr.com. Weigh in, and we'll share your response next episode.
Please do.
Well, thank you, Schick, for the Icebreaker of the Week. Try harder next time, please. And just kidding. Listen, but onward to next up, we've got a little feature here that we call this segment is not brought to you by, which highlights a brand that deserves a nod for doing it right. And we're in no way being paid for this portion of it. But although we wish we were, maybe at some point we will.
We'd like to be.
But for right now, I think versus really highlighting one specific brand, it was tough today specifically, because today is December 1st. It is Giving Tuesday, right? So Giving Tuesday is touted as the global generosity movement, unleashing the power of people and organizations to transform their communities and the world. Just right off my head, like the top of my head, I said that.
That was
pretty
brilliant.
good, right?
Very on message.
Yeah.
I try. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
The day that encourages people to make donations to worthy causes to balance out your conscience following all the gluttony of Cyber Monday, right? So if you need help finding a cause, we did see a story earlier today. CNN_ has a story of about 50-plus brands and retailers that are giving back on this Giving Tuesday, including some greats like Schwinn, Chewy, Dollar Shave Club, Madewell, and so many more. The causes range from helping pet organizations to the homeless, COVID relief, social equality groups, and beyond. So please find an organization that resonates with you, and certainly make a donation, any amount you can afford right now, obviously, given the current state of the world. And please, 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 this is just really from us and from our hearts, right? Please don't forget about the small nonprofits in your local communities, especially food banks. These guys are working tirelessly around the clock to provide so many people who are food insecure as a result of COVID-19. So, again, any amount you can afford to make a tremendous impact. Besides, who couldn't use a little karma right now? That's kind of how we're looking at it here. So,
sure.
Again, Giving Tuesday, make a donation, any amount, and it's all appreciated across the board. There's so many people need help out there right now. Okay.
Nice. Nice.
So with that, we're going to go transition over for some other housekeeping items. I'll kick it over to Schick and Jen.
Yeah, so just a quick call out. This morning came across Adweek's bracket of 2020 best marketing moments. So if you haven't checked it out, go make sure you're following Adweek on Twitter @Adweek. That will find the best marketing moment. So far, they already started this past week. So just some quick results. The Moldy Whopper fell to GIF versus GIF campaign. So that was a little bit surprising. Baby Nut topped Cool Ranch Dance.
The Planters thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mr. Peanut.
Baby Nut.
Interesting.
So if you don't like these results, make sure you weigh in on the next rounds. It looks like round 1 voting will continue through December 3rd, which then will go to round 2 and so forth, with the winner announced on December 14th. So we'll drop a comment in our YouTube video for this episode, where you can go look at the full bracket, and then make sure you're following Adweek again on Twitter @Adweek.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
next call out, Jen, you're up.
Yes, just to give you a juicy little update on my topic from last week about the plant-based menus that are rolling out. Turns out IKEA just announced they're getting in on the game as well. They have pledged to offer 50% plant-based meals in the IKEA restaurant by 2025 and 80% not red meat options. So they said that a lot of people were asking them for more options that are more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. And basically they rolled out this plan to roll it all out by 2025, but they're not getting rid of the Swedish meatballs.
Thank
so
goodness.
yes, no cause for alarm. But they are, however, planning to add a plant meatball of some kind and also a salmon meatball of some kind.
Feetball.
Interesting. I dig it. I like IKEA doing this. I think their Swedish meatballs are iconic. I love those things. Have you guys had? I haven't had them in a while, but like.
Oh my god, I haven't been there in so long. But yeah,
it's been a while.
It's like such an experience to
They're
go
good.
and eat the food. It's like it's like a whole thing.
The gravy with like the lingonberry sauce is killer. I'm excited for it. I think it's kind of cool, and I like how they're like, it's IKEA's lane with the whole Swedish meatball ball thematic, right? So like I saw like they're doing veggie balls, salmon balls, all that kind of stuff.
They are.
Dig it. It's right in line with like their the way they always do things. So I like it. I like that approach from them. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So now when you're shopping around, you can enjoy a interesting meatball alternative.
I think my trip to IKEA is now going to be complete.
Yeah.
I dig
That's
it.
what it was missing.
No, but I mean, again, we talked about it, in the last episode, right? The just all the positive impact from a climate standpoint. I mean, again, why not? And to John's point, it's completely their lane. So looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think it said in their release that the move was going to reduce climate impact by like 4% per person that participates in it. So pretty substantial.
Damn.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're going to continue to keep an eye on that one, Jen, and keep us posted on any developments there. And of course, hopefully we can get our hands on those things soon. Try them out.
Most def.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to transition to the first topic of the day. Bring it on, Jen Petrella.
Okay, well, I'm sure everybody heard about this. It was pretty big news all over the internet for sure. There was a teenager who was working at SherwinWilliams, and in his spare time, he would make paint mixing videos on his TikTok. And basically, with the videos he was making, he grew his TikTok audience to about 1 million followers. So he was getting super successful on TikTok. SherwinWilliams caught wind of it and fired him for basically feeding his hobby while he was on the job.
Yeah.
Even though he said that he paid for all the paint that he used and he was doing it like on his breaks and stuff. But yeah, so they cut him loose. And I read an interview he did with BuzzFeed where he basically said that after the news broke, all the major players, of course, offered him a job. Benjamin Moore, a bunch of other paint companies. And basically what he wound up doing was he took a job out of Orlando at a small paint place called Florida Paints. So he's moving to Florida, and he basically said the reason why he went with it was just because he and the guy that offered him the job shared a similar love of paint. Dude. So they connected on that. But yeah, just, kind of wondering what you guys think in terms of, obviously, we all think firing him was probably the wrong move, but I'm sure they had their reasons. So
I have to say that, TikTok is such a versatile platform. I mean, yeah, I'm an old guy and these guys make fun of me for like checking out videos and stuff on it, but you got to know what's going on out there, right? So it's everyone from younger kids, teens and tweens to moms, and it's everyone's on this platform, right? And this guy grew the audience to 1 million, right? So if this kid's mixing paint and it was taking off, why would you not use that to your advantage at SherwinWilliams? I would assume, or I would hope so, that somebody in the marketing department, their internal department, would understand the value of what this kid was doing and figure out a way to leverage it for the brand. It just doesn't make any sense.
So I read it in the interview that he did with BuzzFeed. He was basically saying that he spoke to like his manager and the district manager, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. You have to put something together for corporate." And he was able to get a hold of the marketing person on the corporate level, and he like made them a whole presentation, and they basically were just like, "Yeah, we're not going to do anything with this right now," and kind of, weren't interested in hearing about it.
I mean, 1 million. He grew an audience to 1 million followers.
Yeah, if not more now, I think actually.
Well, now, yeah, I'm sure it's blown up now since the viral story. But, it also sounds like this new employer. I saw it was cool. I thought like the owner of Florida Paints, it seems like they really engaged well with this kid. And he decided he could have worked at any paint brand, apparently.
Right.
And that's who he went with. And I love that guy also said, like, he wants him to, quote, continue to express his creativity on social media. Yeah. This is the guy who I'm sure is going to also use that to that company's advantage and surely should do so. Yeah. But, the other thing, though, is that we truly only know one side of this story. But great for this kid, Tony, and great for Florida Paints, but not really the best look for SherwinWilliams, in my opinion.
Now, a little bit of archaic thinking in that respect. And, if they use their internal social media policy to terminate this guy, I mean, you would hope that they would have the more somebody up there would have the vision to kind of step in, to your point, Brian, and interfere and identify. This is, we want influencers that are working here. Our clients want influencers that are already there. You're getting that better endorsement there. So, I mean, SherwinWilliams had the golden ticket, so to speak, and they just tore it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think it was a miss. Straight up. I would have kept that kid on the roster.
Yeah.
Paint Hall of Fame. Bob Vila, SherwinWilliams kid.
Well, that's the thing too, right
Bob
now.
Ross. Oh my lord.
Oh, wow.
What a miss. Sorry.
Bob Vila. Okay.
Sorry, Bobby.
I just smile and nod because I assume that they're just references that I don't know. So I'm just
Bob
like,
Ross.
Yep.
Yeah. You do know Bob Ross, right?
I do, but I was like, Bob Vila.
But it's crazy too, because when you think about how this thing is going to evolve, this kid is always going to be known as the SherwinWilliams kid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to be known as the Florida Paints kid, right? But exactly. But I also think that like if you're SherwinWilliams, I mean that should be the penalty, right? That's a little bit of your penance, because I mean it really this kid's mixing paint and it's like enough to fire him. He's not stealing it. He's not, it's just, I don't know, man. It's a miss for me, and I feel like they're going to be. Like I said, that's going to be this kid's nickname forever.
Yeah, so, I feel like Monday morning quarterback on this situation would be like, what do we do?
Yeah, definitely. I'd be curious to see in the long-term effects of something like this, if they do have long-term effects, right? So look at the generation that's on TikTok that are familiar with this story. Give it 5-10 years now that they're homeowners and they need to paint a room. Who are they going with? And I'd love to see if there's any kind of correlation to this event and playing
For sure.
on the long-term brand affinity there.
Well, and like from a PR standpoint too, they could never do one of those like chief mixing officer or like chief color officer. You know, they could never
Right,
do
it's like, hey,
anything
you
like
guys
that.
had one already.
Yeah,
and I
right.
fired them.
Tactic off the table.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a bummer. It started out as a bummer for the kid, but it sounds like I hope that kid was able to negotiate a pretty good salary at Florida Paints, because now hopefully if they're smart, which it sounds like they are because they scooped him up, that they're going to leverage it for their own company. Yeah. That's great, man. Hats off to those guys for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Not to mention that there is a huge, mildly satisfying audience out there that just consumes that kind of content.
Oh, it's so
I mean,
soothing. I loved it. I was looking at it to do research for this story, and I was like, wow, this is very relaxing.
It's like
I mean,
staring
if you
at
want to
fire.
get lost in, go on Reddit and look up their thread of mildly, or soothing
Oddly
clips.
satisfying?
I forget. Yes, thank you. Brain fart there. But yes, it sounds like you are familiar already.
I'm so familiar. I love stuff like that.
Ditto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
This guy loves to smell a
know
trade
your
show.
audience, chick.
Yeah.
Exactly. Seriously. Oh my
anyway,
goodness.
yeah. Listen, great topic, and now I think we're gonna let's kick it over to John, who's got another great one for us. John, take it away.
Yeah, so the chicken sandwich wars, right? I mean, I think obviously Chick-fil-A, as we know, has been kind of the OG in the space for chicken sandwiches for quite some time now. We saw last August Popeyes get in the game with their take on the chicken sandwich as well. And now enter Wendys. Wendys is getting in on the chicken sandwich war. If you guys have seen, all their creative recently has revolved around their new classic chicken sandwich, which boasts, compared to their old one, pickles and a tastier, crispier coating and a juicier filet. This war was started obviously over a year ago back in August, and us BMLers will remember we did our own taste test at the office when it was just Chick-fil-A and Popeyes.
I ate so many sandwiches that day.
We ate a lot of chicken that day.
Won the BML contest.
So I think Popeyes edged out Chick-fil-A, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
by like 0.2 of a point. It was
but
ridiculous.
the headline is Popeyes won, right? So Popeyes won.
But it was loaded with fraud.
Yeah.
It was very close. Well,
Sounds like it.
I don't know if the math was done right. There, you ask 10 PR people to do averages, you get 10 different answers.
I know.
That is true.
Good point. But what I was saying, like the feuds over like the best fast food items, like I love that kind of stuff where it's like, the fry debate, the nug debate among the fast food players, but this chicken sandwich thing, right? It's been reignited in the cycle. All their creative, for you non-cord cutters and on TV, has been solely focused around the classic chicken sandwich. I want to ask you guys, is it too late now? What do you guys think? Or is it genius because they're reigniting the news cycle? No one's really been talking about chicken sandwiches for a hot second, and now it's back. So
yeah, I mean, I
what do you
think
guys
they're so late that it's strategic at this point, right? Because now it's been so long that they are getting news stories, whereas before maybe it wouldn't have been as such. So I think they waited probably the right amount of time to kind of reignite the story and get it going again.
Right.
Yeah, and my first question is, so what's been the response from Chick-fil-A and Popeyes? Have you seen anything?
So I did poke around. I have not seen it. It's kind of like how from my POV, it's kind of how Chick-fil-A played the Popeyes situation when they got
So that's what so that's what I wanted to transition into, right?
Yeah.
So if you remember the chicken sandwich war, that was really a one-sided battle, right?
Yeah.
It was really, sure, both brands were in it, but really only one brand was fighting it, and that was Popeyes.
Yep.
And Chick-fil-A remained absolutely silent. And that so do I love it? I love it as a consumer.
Yeah.
From a PR standpoint,
Right.
completely strategic that Chick-fil-A stayed quiet. Now, why would a brand that is so dominant within a category even entertain Popeyes when they're, it for them, it would only be beneath them. It's only a giant step down. So I always thought that Popeyes did an amazing job of not only lighting that fire, but then keeping that fire lit with the intensity that it was for a while. It was genius. But then again, the thing that I think about Wendy's foray into this whole thing, because when you think about them, they're first and foremost a burger brand. Right? Yeah, they have chicken sandwiches, and their chicken sandwiches are pretty good. But I think they're baiting these brands potentially hoping one or both of these guys respond so that can provide them with the great social roasting that these guys are.
I was going to say, who
for.
is going to get into it with Wendys? Nobody wants to take them on Twitter.
Exactly.
I hope to hell somebody does, because again, that roasting, when you talk about genius moves from restaurants in this category, Wendy's, their chicken sandwiches have always been good, but this one might be a little too aspirational, but they're baiting people trying to so that way they could just have at it on social, because they've done such a tremendous job over the past number of years, roasting people on social.
Agreed. Yeah. I love the approach too. Just when it's been a little bit quiet, digging back in, for sure, to kind of reignite that cycle and get some talk value for their brand on not their core menu item per se, right? Because to your point, they're a burger brand, fresh, never frozen. Where's the beef? Like, it's always been about the burger for them. So to see them kind of enter the chicken sandwich war at this point, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing too. So for me, like I'm gonna. What did we do when the Popeyes thing happened? We sent interns out to get 50 sandwiches. From each brand, and we tried it. So there's no doubt that.
I'm sorry, did you say 50?
We got quite a few.
Yeah, we really upset the people at the local Popeyes that day, because the one close to us is inside of a mall. So they went into the food court and they were like, "Yeah, we need like 25 sandwiches."
They're like, "It's going to be a little bit." So, but ideally, it's one of those things that I'm. Hands down, I'm definitely going to go try this thing.
Hell yeah.
And
for sure.
Definitely.
Give it a go.
Yeah, most definitely. By the way, just shout out to Popeyes. Side note, or sleeper side item, red beans and rice. Amazing.
You say this every time that Popeyes comes up.
I know, but that red beans and rice there is so good. Highly recommend it. No joke. So good. But I give Wendy's props up for entering this war now. The presence on social is great. I love that tone that they have, and I think it just falls right in line with the kind of the way they've been operating recently. It feels a little bit late, but it's like the perfect time to freaking get in there. I love it. So
yeah, and they're trying to go big, right? It's a big fight, because it's not PR and social. They're going all into their national ad budget too.
Totally, yes, correct. All the creative I've seen has reflected their chicken sandwich.
So that's why literally I'm in the chair at Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. I'm going, let these guys spend as much money as they want. No comment.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but still, it's gonna trigger sales, hands down. I think
so, for sure.
The interest there is definite. So
yes, for sure.
Good stuff. Awesome. I love it. Keep an eye on it. We're always keeping an eye on these types of battles in the fast food world and the QSR world.
Hell yeah.
So John, let's make sure that we at some point by the next podcast or two.
Taste test.
Everybody go out. Let's do a taste test. Come back and let's hear the report.
Let's discuss.
I think
you want me to eat something besides spicy nuggets? I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly. So this next topic is a real blessing, right, Uncle Lewis?
The blessing.
So Kayla Mathis, who's a contributing writer for Adweek, recently did a story headlined "Sam's Clubs lets customers do their holiday shopping in the iconic Griswold family home." Go check it out directly at adweek.com. Specifically, the brand noted that the pandemic has left consumers on a tight budget and much less likely to head to brick-and-mortar locations to purchase gifts. And at the same time, shoppers are void of the joys of in-store shopping, with 71% missing discovery and casual browsing, with 73% missing tactile experiences.
Huh.
So this really means, what does this mean, right? It means that that brands must create creative and interactive online shopping experiences and alternate pickup and delivery options that will appeal to and actively engage shoppers in a new and different, unique way, right? So Sam's Club did exactly that by creating a holiday shopping experience with a virtual reality recreation of the Griswold house from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, complete with decorations and gifts that can be purchased directly through the site. So check it out at samsclub.com/Christmas Vacation. The brand notes that the Griswold family was chosen for this activation because of Clark Griswold's determination to make the season a happy one for all, despite the circumstances. Let's start here. What do you guys think?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, same. I mean, as somebody that's a very visual person, especially if I'm looking at decor, like I want to see it. I want to see how it sits in a room or in a setting. So if it's something I'm trying to replicate, I want to see that. Seeing things on a shelf for me doesn't always do it. So the augmented reality here definitely helps with that. I like it. I love it. And it's a good thing. And it's good engagement too. I mean, if you think about it from the brand perspective of having somebody poke around you on this site for a little while, it's good.
Let us not forget too that when Clark takes that trip down the hill and that saucer that he shines up with his non-nutritive cereal varnish or whatever it is, he flies into a Walmart parking lot too. Just saying.
Oh, that's true.
But from
Sam's Club.
Oh,
this is Sam's Club, yeah.
But it's all part of the same company.
All part of the same company.
Yeah,
right.
but I love it. So for me, I'm a brick and mortar guy through and through. I love going to the stores, and you guys have heard my Black Friday stories from this past week. But I love it. I think it's a super cool way to like weave the properties together in like a really unique way. As a shopper, I don't know if I'm going through there though and like trying to browse in the house. For me, I love it because I'm a super fan of the movie, and to take the virtual tour of the house and to see the way that Walmart Sam's Club placed their products in the house and like how they chose to do it. I thought it was really clever, but I think the real rush for me is like being able to like pretend like I'm walking through the Griswold house and being like, wow, it's so cool. I love that they connected though.
That's a rush for him.
Yeah. I dig it though. I think it
doesn't take much
super
these
cool
days.
Move, original. Doesn't.
Yeah.
But when the first time we heard about this thing, it's been like we've been like, wow, that was great. So like it's totally resonated with I think all of us. So I love it. I think it's a great play.
Jen, what do you think?
I'm not familiar with this film or family, but I love stuff like this. I think that
Clark, do you
people
believe this shit?
You serious, Clark?
Serious,
really,
Clark?
I'm very sorry. I don't mean any offense, but from like a virtual standpoint, I think I know me especially. I'm looking for things that I can do from my house that will still get me in the holiday spirit, like bring a little fun inside. So, I mean, I looked at the website. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't have that emotional attachment that John has, but as far as like concepts go, I love stuff like this right now. I think it's topical. I think a lot of people are looking for something that they can do at home.
It was like when I went through this, it was like it felt like it was something to do. I wasn't like shopping like on an e-commerce platform. It felt like I was like playing a game or something. It was very
it's
cool.
almost like watching a movie, but in an interactive way. I like experiences like that, especially now. Like, John's a brick and mortar guy. I think I'm the opposite. I think I love to be at home shopping online. So for me, just like an extension of something that is already so cool to me.
Well, the only thing that I saw missing was Snots the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, he's jacking on a bone. He got it up.
Personally, I liked everything about the stunt. I think that the movie's such an iconic film. It's a film, by the way, not a movie. It's
correct.
a film.
I said film.
So thank you, Jen.
I was like,
show the respect that it's due, right? So
yes.
So no matter what, like when I heard about this stunt, same thing. I was absolutely going to head over there and check it out right away, which I did. It's a real traffic driver for sure. I'd love to see the metrics on what this promotion has done for the brand and their web traffic. While the virtual reality portion of this thing was cool and a great tactic given all things related to the challenges of COVID, I'm hoping that Sam's Club raises the bar next holiday season and they turn this thing into some kind of tangible experience, some kind of pop-up somewhere, once the world normalizes. I just think it would be so much fun. So I think great job to the Sam's Club team. I think the approach accomplished the goal. And like the Fisher-Price Toy Museum on Instagram that we talked about on our last episode, it hit me right in the nostalgia spot. So I know it didn't for Jen, but it did, I think, definitely for me. Yeah. And I actually made a little purchase while there. And it will remain nameless because I make my wife listen to this podcast. So, so know that in its basic form, it worked for me, and I love it. So great job there.
Yeah, they just a quick tie a bow on this thing. They also had little unique moments from the movie built into the experience, like Aunt Bethany wrapping up her cat. There was a shaking box in like their little foyer.
Yep, it was
the
so
squirrel
funny.
in the tree. Like they nailed it. Talk about a fun project to work on too. Like that would just be oof. That's awesome. So. Good job.
Yeah, without a doubt.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so now
cool.
let's kick it over to our good buddy Mike Schick for the social second. Schick, take it away.
Yes, thank you.
Woo!
So, Twitter stories. Fleets. Twitter has introduced fleets. They actually introduced them earlier this year with a soft rollout, I believe in March in Brazil, just to get them going, get some traction.
Must have missed that one.
Yeah. There might have been some other news going on. But so then earlier last month, sorry, I was going to say earlier this month, but it's December 1st. Yeah. There's no earlier. But mid-November, they pushed them out. And then about 2 days later, they pulled them back, saying they basically wanted to work out some bugs and whatnot. So from what we've seen from people that were early adopters, it's very laggy. It just seems like the servers were overwhelmed and they weren't really prepared for it. So they're pulling back and getting ready. But the question here is, when they do launch and are ready to go, will you guys be adding fleets to your personal posting?
As the dinosaur of the group, probably not.
10 p.m. text from Brian, like, how do I update my Twitter?
It's not
now,
that
Fleets
bad.
is designed to also. Fleets is designed to, it's targeting those people that may have drafted a tweet and didn't post it, and it's just something that kind of lives there. So it's like, oh, I would tweet this normally. Now I can throw it on Fleets. So with that in mind, is that something that you would use?
Thank you.
So it is supposed to be for text, not like an Instagram story, like a photo.
It can be though. From what I saw, it's basically what you see on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Same deal.
Yeah.
I probably won't be using this. I don't like this feature on any social media platform, so I can't imagine that I'll be adopting it on Twitter as well. I mean, if I do think that something is important enough to tweet, then it goes right on the main page. There's no in between, right? Right into the feed, or it stays in drafts. For
sure. Yeah. I get the feature for like Instagram and stuff, but for Twitter, because I am using it in more of like for a news function for me, just to kind of keep up with everything. I'm following feeds anyway. I don't want to click on like something else to then like follow more stuff. Like, why isn't it in the main feed? It's not my thing per se. I would imagine as social media people though, shickers, that it's just another thing to scope moving forward for clients, and it's more time it's a larger time investment for agency side, right?
Yeah, for our side, sure. But, think of it on the platform side. Why would they do that? So that you're spending more time on the platform so they could serve you more ads, right? It's all about making money. So I think people often forget these social platforms are ad channels too, and they're revenue sources for these companies. Sure. So I think we often forget that. Even Instagram recently changed their layout, right? So anybody here see the new layout where now notifications are in the upper right corner? You have the shopping tag on the bottom.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's all about bringing in the money.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess it's like a keeping up with the Joneses thing, like, right? Like all the other platforms have some kind of feature like this, right? Or the main ones at least. So like they need one too.
Sure.
So who knows? Yeah. But I get it though. I get it from to your point about the revenue generator. It makes obviously all the sense in the world.
I mean, it's more ad space too, right? You mix in, everybody else is doing it too. You mix in those ads right between. It could be 3 to 6 seconds. That's all it takes, and they get paid.
But if people don't use the feature, though, how long do you think a social media platform is going to wait until they decide to say, this one didn't work, let's just bury it?
It's a good question. With something like this, I don't think they ever will throw in the towel just because of how it's on every other platform, right? So it has to be somewhat successful if they're all doing it. I think of it that way. Like, why are notifications in the upper right corner? I'm sure there's some psychology to that as to why that icon's there, and that's where eyes gravitate towards, and you're likely to click there. And that's why it's all there always, Right. We said it last week too, we want brands, companies, whatever, to be different and push the envelope and be different. But you keep seeing these, especially on the social side, like they're just copying each other, right? Snapchat came out essentially with stories in 2013. Now look, Twitter's the latest to jump on 7 years later.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting to see, how it evolves, and if it evolves.
Yeah. Not to put you on the spot, Shake, but has there been a feature that a platform has rolled out before that was supposed to be like, whoa, and then it's like, then it just dies? Has there been one? Maybe it's for the next episode we can think about that. I'm just curious
to think about that. I feel like there definitely was something,
like rolling something out, then like pulling it back, and like it just stays in the vault forever.
I mean, I think certain things definitely like fall out of style. Like there was a time where you wouldn't go anywhere without like checking in on Facebook and like letting everyone know you were there.
Yes,
it's like nobody ever does that anymore. Like even like the poke feature, like when I was in high school, it was constantly back and forth, like poke wars. And then that evolved now into like Snapchat streaks. So there are people that use Snapchat every day and keep your streak up with them. So it's like, I think things just fall in and out of fashion.
Yeah. To that point, I think there was a period where it was like, you can't go on Instagram without seeing a boomerang. Thank God that's calmed down.
I love Boomerang.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually Jen's like sort of thing.
Let's cheers.
Just like
Let's do this dramatic cheers that nobody ever does in real life. Hold on. Let me start way back here.
Yeah.
And then it's always an arch.
I love when you try to do that boomerang where it's like, and then it goes like that, and like one little one, and then it's like the big one, and then like one little one. It's like not clean.
Allow me to speak your language, Jen. Corny AF.
Maybe I just boomerang so much that now I'm just better at it. So mine don't look like that. Mine are pretty flawless.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're a professional. Everyone relax.
World-class boomerang.
Yeah.
Well, listen, another great topic on the social second. Great job, Chick, and to everybody. And listen, I know that you're about to start crying because that does it. Thanks for listening to the Lowdown. Lots of great feedback following our first episode, so thank you for that. It certainly is much appreciated. If you enjoyed the podcast, drop us a line at tld@bmlpr.com. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe and recommend us to an industry friend. The Lowdown can be found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And here come the plugs. Follow me at Brian M. Lowe 1 on Twitter. Again, you'll regret it. John.
Hit your boy up at Modern Crouton on Instagram and Twitter. No
Delicious.
fleets. No fleets right now on my feed though.
Schick.
Mike Schick at Mike Schick on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
But I really just use Twitter as a customer service channel, so don't follow me there.
Yeah. And last but not least, Jen.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at jpetrella. It's pretty much the only social media I regularly update. So
hit her there.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
and listen,
and
listen. Here's the plug for us. Don't forget, if you're looking for all the PR and social results without the typical agency bullshit, check us out at bmlpr.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And finally, wear your mask over your nose, keep distance, wash your hands, and until next time, stay safe, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.
Woo!